Good morning, everybody. Coffee with Karen. Click and clink. We're going to do both. I don't know. I don't know why click just sounds better to me. It is Christmas morning, Christmas Eve morning. So I thought I would wear my red sweater. It's not a sweater, but fleecy thing. And since we are talking about No by 2025, this is the season she will make beautiful things, and not perfect things. But I do like the reason I liked this for today's discussion, the No by 2025, is I like the but honest things that speak to who she is and who she is called to be. So if we think of like the No by 2025 is what's speaking to you, he or she, what speaks to who he or she is and who he or she and they, I should include, is called to be. Okay, so the No by 2025, like what speaks to who you are and who you are called to be. That's kind of my focus. Wow, this is really looking fancy today. I got some really cool mood hats from someone in our community, and I have to pull them out. I keep forgetting to pull them out. I have to put them by my computer, and I will have to demonstrate them. They're very cute. They're called mood hats, but it's like a, I don't know, kind of a, it's like a really soft material and it has a big flower right here. So I'm not a real hat person and I don't look particularly good in hats. So I'm not sure that me demonstrating these hats will be very flattering for the business. But and if if you sent them to me, thank you so much. I don't have your name or anything. So if you could email me at Karen@determinedtoLoveMondays.com, that would be amazing. And just let me know who you are so I can thank you. Anywho, so No by 2025. Actually, the first thing I woke up this morning, and maybe you can give me, before we get started on that, you can give me your advice. So I wondered, as I watch others in this category, there are some people who post every day. There are some people who post once a week. There are some people who post 3 times a week. And, we're going to be looking at stats and stuff. I mean, I like to do these videos. So at least right now, there may be a time where, well, especially Coffee with Karen. I don't see myself not doing Coffee with Karen every morning. Although I've been doing like 7 days a week, but there hasn't been a day that I've woke up and been like, I don't feel like. If there is, I just won't post. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to do this very authentically. So, but I wonder about the evening ones. And we're going to look at stats and stuff, and that's really what matters. But I just wondered what your guys' opinions was, what your opinion was, because. Now, when I do that, I might get a copyright zing. I just wonder if it's, the folks who post like 2 or 3 times a week get really big views on those videos. And I think if I post every night, although it just depends on my topic too. Of course, it depends on the topic. The ones that are getting a lot of views are those who post about political stuff. So I'll do that, but I have to be called to do it, like in me. In fact, I posted in the community tab yesterday about if you got to decide, so you can go and post in there, because I think I'm going to do something with it. I'm not sure yet. If you got to decide on one New Year's resolution for Donald Trump, what would it be that he would have to follow So go in there and see what people are saying. But I have an idea. I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet. So we'll wait and see what I'm going to do with what your guys' New Year's resolutions are. But my sister and I had this idea yesterday that it would be fun to do an angel card reading that like I would draw 3 cards and it would be like those had to be his New Year's like what would the angels suggest his New Year's resolutions be? And we thought that would be fun, you know? And I tried it 2 times and it just did not come off naturally. I just couldn't do it. Like it didn't make any sense to me. And I have to tell you, there have been numerous videos I've tried to do about 45 and I couldn't do them. So so it was like, was it my ego that was like, yeah, do this about 45, but then my soul and my spirit guides were like, yeah, we're not going to let this happen. You know what I mean? I filmed it twice yesterday, like probably 15 minutes each, and I got into it. I'm like, if it doesn't flow naturally for me, then, I don't post it, and it's very rare. And honestly, the only ones that I've tried that really didn't flow were maybe this was like the second or third time I tried to do something about 45 and it didn't. And so that's obviously my spirit guides protecting this channel, not protecting it from 45, but protecting it from you, for you. It's my guess. Or just not even wanting me to talk about it anymore. I don't know. But people are very, very interested in the political stuff. And if I am interested and I want to know, I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be a good say to do, like, what do the spirit guides say that Donald Trump's New Year's resolutions should be? Now, maybe if I had a deck that was very specific to that, it's just that I couldn't, and even I asked the SGs if I should do this, and they said yes, actually. So now that I'm remembering that, after the first time it kind of didn't go well, I asked my SGs if I should do it, and they said yes. And then I said, is this the right deck? And they said no. And then I went over to my shelf where I have all my decks, which is right behind me, and if you want to see it, sometimes people want to see what I'm talking about. Let's see if my microphone, I got to pick the microphone up. And my coffee mugs are in that drawer on what would be your right, I think, your left. We keep them in there because there's so many of them. Anyway, so I went over with the SGs and I said, okay, well, this deck, and they said no. And I said this deck, and they said no. So rather than obviously my intuition on that whole thing didn't work. Because the deck I originally chose wasn't the good one. And I did look, I looked around. But then they picked a different one, and then I tried the reading on it, and it just wasn't coming. It's very interesting to me. And actually, I have to think about this. I think any time that I plan to do some kind of reading or something, or because of conversation my sister and I had, or what might be interesting, those don't come off well. They don't, I can't finish them. So if I'm laying here and I get an inspiration, those are the ones that always come off well. And it's been just a few, so that's a key to working with your inspiration, because your inspiration is your intuition. It's your spirit guides. It's, Okay, no, maybe we'll put a timestamp at 9:30 for the no buy, because that was kind of a long intro. Okay, so hey, Lob, if you could put a timestamp if you're listening to this at 9:30. So no buy 2025. So this is a new concept to me, and it's not one I've made up at all, but I heard somebody else talk about it on some channel, And so I started looking at, and they said there's like a whole group for it, I guess if you look on Facebook, maybe there's one. I didn't see, when I Googled, I didn't see a Facebook group for it, but if you Google it, there's a lot of people have done videos already. I'm always like 2 steps behind everybody, so that's just the way it is. Um, but if this concept wasn't interesting to me, I wouldn't talk about it. So it was introduced to me, and then I've just been kind of thinking about it. So the question is, and I think it would be interesting for us to share, is if you did a no by 2025, and that doesn't mean like not, okay, at first, there are some people who are going to the extreme, like only necessities for 2025, and that has to do with capitalism, okay? And I'm kind of tempted in that. I don't know how long I would last before I'm not a real like rule setter. I don't usually set New Year's resolutions. I don't set goals. I just follow my feeling, But there's a part of me, because of the way capitalism is. I mean, I think being in capitalistic society is a great thing because it allows entrepreneurs, to do things. It's a very creative way to have. It's just very creative. And so I think that's amazing. But there's been, to me, feels like a really turn of events with somehow the US is allowing, it feels like monopolies, like Bezos is monopolizing, especially because you see him like buying up things. It's like when they buy up things, it feels weird. So like he has Amazon, he bought Whole Foods, he bought Zappos, I didn't know he bought the Washington Post, is that what it was? And so who knows what else he owns, but so there's one, I think the original movement, or one movement, is about the capitalism, And part of me has actually been paying, ever since I've learned about the no buy 2025, I've been kind of paying attention to everything we buy and how much packaging is involved. Oh my gosh, you guys, we throw away so much packaging alone, 2 of us, just us. Can you imagine the whole world? And we know, right? Because we've seen that huge garbage drift in the ocean. Yeah, but that's not even, I mean, that's big, but it's like, I think it's like the state of Texas or something. That's how big it is. But that's not even, I mean, that's like a day's worth of garbage. If everybody throws away as much garbage as we do every day, it's ridiculous. So for me, everybody's going to come at this from a different angle. Some people are going to come at it from a financial perspective. Some people are going to come at no by 2025 from a political perspective, or which would probably be a little bit along the lines of the capitalism. But I'm starting to feel like I can buy stuff if it doesn't have packaging. And that's a really good reason why to cook whole foods. Because you go into the grocery store to the vegetable section, there's not packaging around vegetables, is there? Or definitely buying in bulk. Because if you buy in bulk, or even go to the bulk, well, if you go to the bulk section in the grocery store, you still have to use a baggie. But you could bring your own bags, like a reusable, you could bring a container to reuse. I think that's where I'm feeling, for me it's the season to create beautiful things, not perfect things, but honest things. It's create the honest things that speak to who you are and who you are called to be. That changes with the season. That's why this is the season, this is the season, is the first line. So what's the season calling you to be or to do when it comes to no by 2025, you know? And again, everybody's going to be different. And so if you want to post, what are you feeling inspired to do? For if it could be one little thing, a no by 2025, or it could be a location. I'm not buying in that location anymore, or any of the locations that vote the opposite or pay for, the Republican who contributed to 45 or whatever. Or like I said, it could be one little thing. It's just interesting. And then, like, if you can afford it, if you did a no buy on something, maybe could you then donate some of that money that you saved if you're not doing it for savings purposes. So if my husband and I do a no buy 2025, well, we're going to save a lot of money. And so rather than save that, maybe I'll turn around and donate it. So not a bad idea. But I was just thinking, like, who could I donate it to? And it would be like, I might originally thought of a recycling center, but I don't know. I'm starting to pick up little snippets, and I don't know if it's true. I've heard people say this. I haven't done any research on it. And I think I'll go down to our Middleton recycling area and talk to them, because people are saying, like, well, you recycle, but they don't really recycle it. They just throw it away. And I'm like, really? I don't know if that's true. So I would donate to something about, or climate change. Maybe I'll donate to climate change or something. But I've talked about this before. I don't donate money. I donate things. So I have to think about that. Because I've been burned. Well, there are a few major fundraising companies that have burned us collectively. One was the Red Cross. They've burned us before. Susan G. Komen has burned us, meaning they're using their funds for things that are totally inappropriate. So I like to know exactly where the money is going to. I've never really contributed. My mom has a scholarship. Maybe that's what I'll do this year. We set up so my dad worked, my non-biological dad, but my dad, the non-45 dad, he worked at a college his whole life, just like I did. Which, by the way, when I was growing up, I said, I'm never going to do what you do. And I did exactly what he did. Isn't that funny? Not the same school, but the exactly same thing. For the most part, he also taught math. I did not teach math. But when my mom passed in 2013, he set up a scholarship program under her name for students who, could apply for the scholarship because they needed funding to go to school. And I've never contributed I did right in the beginning, but not on a regular basis. So maybe I will send the money there in honor of my mama. It's not a bad idea. Okay. So I'm thinking out loud. So maybe it's sparking some ideas for you. What else? No by 2025. Seriously, like you've heard me say, if you've been around the channel, I buy blankets all the time at Costco. Costco, we've spent so much money at Costco. And it is true. Like you see these you see people on YouTube making fun of it. Like you go into Costco and you're like, I don't need anything. And then you come out with a full basket full of stuff. You're like, what the hell? What the hell? Did you guys ever see that kid on YouTube? And then it went kind of viral for a while, the what the hell? It was like a little kid and he's like, what the hell? What the hell? So then everybody made these videos of what the hell. So for the longest time I would go, what the hell? What the hell? But really, what the hell? when you go into Costco, I mean, it's like you go into Costco and you're like, I must buy everything in here. It's weird. It's a psychological phenomenon. And I've fallen into it every week. It's weird. Oh, there's something new at Costco, you know? And I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. I mean, especially because it's become like our outing for the week, you know? It's just to go buy stuff. What? Why? If my sister's listening to this, Marcia, she's gonna, she does not buy hardly anything. So she does not understand that. I don't even understand it. So maybe that's what, oh, I have to give, that's probably not a bad thing. I will keep Costco, but I can go and, just for the vegetables or something. I don't know. I got to think about that. The Costco thing. I do not need any more blankets. I do not need any more blankets. I buy so many blankets. I don't need any more. I didn't even need this one. So it just seems like every year they get a little better. But I do donate blankets. So if I get too many, I do donate them. So that's not a bad thing. I wash them first and then I donate them. So yeah, so you have to kind of think to yourself, like, what are you kind of doing on autopilot? Going to Costco and having that buying behavior is like on autopilot for us. So what is it that you're doing on autopilot? So I might dabble, and I'll share my list once I have it. Once I completely decide. And I shouldn't say we, because I mean, if my husband wants to do a no by 2025, that's fine. But I'm not going to, if he doesn't want to, he'll say yes. If I kind of press him on it, he'll say yes. But then if it's not in his heart, he's not going to do it. So then it's just like a flop from the beginning, So if he wants to do it, if he comes up with something he wants to do, that's fine. But I'll do it for me. Which, by the way, I'm the one who buys all the stuff, like, the blankets. He doesn't buy blankets. He doesn't buy anything. He really doesn't. So he doesn't really need to do a no buy. The only thing he shops at Walmart, and so he's retiring in 15 days. He has 15 days left. And so he does shop at Walmart, but he said for political reasons, he's going to stop shopping there. But right now, just with after he's done working, then he can scope out where he can find the stuff he normally buys there somewhere else. And I don't know if it's Target or I don't know how they lean or which store, But anyway, so that's his, I mean, literally he just buys toiletries. So he can buy toiletries anywhere. That's all he ever buys. So he's a little bit like Marcia, my sister. So maybe I'll just become a little bit more like them. And not for the money, it's really just to like the stuff. And then you're constantly organizing the stuff. But it's really for me the packaging. Holy schmoly, the packaging. Even for this holiday season, I bought some boxes of candy and some cookies or whatever. And I have put them on a tray, rather than baking them myself. I put them on a tray to take it today. And we're going to see Jim's mom, actually, because he's, this is like a week for him to check in on her and stuff, but it just happens to be Christmas. So anyway, but the box, I mean, like, first it has like this little thing on top, and then it's wrapped in plastic, and then it's in a box, like for 30 cookies, 30 little cookies. And I threw all that stuff away for 30 little cookies. So now if I would have made cookies, it would have been a lot less packaging. So it's just stuff like that. It's just being conscious about stuff like that. I'm not doing that. 2025, I'm stopping it. Poor Mother Earth. What have we done? What have we done? And if we didn't buy it, they wouldn't make it that way, you know? And I know the excuse because I've been using it my whole life. Well, why make that change? No one else is making the change, and then they're not going to stop doing it because everyone else is doing it. You know what I mean? But it has more to do with like what that does to your energy, right? Your own vibrational energy. So if you're called to do it, then it will increase your, and it feels good. It'll increase your vibrational energy. So it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter. Which also means if it doesn't feel good to you, then I wouldn't recommend that either. And the difference is like if it doesn't feel good because it's a challenge, because you're addicted to something, like if you're addicted, like if I was addicted to Costco, you know what I mean? Which I kind of am, because it's like you have to find just haven't been mindful about that being like a fun place to be. It's a store, And well, I have been mindful about it, but not mindful enough to do anything about it. So that is obviously fulfilling a need in me, And then the bigger question is why? Why is that? Like, go take a walk instead, Why is that date night? You know what I mean? Like I talked about this before. We used to call it Friday night date night. Like, why is that date night? That is just the dumbest thing ever. It's just dumb. When you're conscious about it, you realize how dumb it is. When you're unconscious about it, you just float through life, So when I say, does it feel good or does it not feel good? It's more, so that's when you're listening to your intuition. But you get in, okay, so to me, like my intuition is saying that's a good idea, okay? But when I get down into the nitty gritty of it, does it feel good? No, because I have to make a change. So that's kind of the difference, So I think your initial reaction to something is like, oh, that would be a good idea, Then to me, this is how I use my intuition. So that's my intuition saying, that's a decent idea for you. And like your spirit guide saying, yes, 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 poking at you, yes, yes, yes. But then your ego, when you get into ego space, your ego is like survival. No, I like Friday night date night. We don't even go on Friday nights, but we used to go on Friday nights. Or I like seeing all the new stuff they have all the time so I can keep buying it. That's the ego. So when I say, does it feel good, does it not feel good? Tap into your intuition first. Don't let the ego jump up, because the ego is going to say, no, keep eating the junk food, keep shopping, keep spending the money that you don't have, keep buying things, yeah, basically spending over your means. The ego is going to do that. Your intuition is not. So I wonder if our intuition is always the start of the new year. Like our intuition loves that New Year's resolution stuff. And then within a couple weeks, because we work out all year round at a gym. And we see in January, all of a sudden there's all these new people. And then by February, it dies down. And March, it dies. And then it just goes back to normal. So all these people buy a membership. And that's, there's probably their intuition telling them to get going. But then their ego takes over, right? And and just the everyday stuff. You just realize I can't pull off what I thought I was going to be able to pull off because you didn't make any other changes in your life, So I've, the last 15 years of my life, I haven't been a resolution person. I've been like, well, if that's going to be my New Year's resolution, I'm going to do it all year. I start at any time of the year. I don't want to start just in January because it always felt like a failure, So, Like if I had something I wanted to do, I probably would rather start it on February 1st because then I wouldn't feel like this whole January 1st thing has always set me up for failure. So, all right. So what are you going to do for No by 25? If you are, one, are you going to do it? Think about it for a while and just even in the comments, like share, what are you thinking about? You don't even have to make a commitment at that point, but what are you thinking about? Is there something, maybe you buy candles constantly, maybe what else? I don't know. What else are people, I don't know. I can't think of anything, but the candles came to mind. I don't know. Does somebody buy candles a lot? Because that just came to my mind. Is there anybody listening that buys too many candles? And I think there's a part of me, I love going to thrift shops. I talk about those. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the thrift shop thing. Because one, there's no packaging. I don't even get a bag. I bring my own bags and stuff. But, I mean, does it help with the stuff? No. But, I enjoy thrift shopping. Mostly for books. It's mostly books. I like going, and mugs. And mugs, of course. I got this at a thrift shop. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because I haven't done enough research, but Goodwill, I think, is everywhere, right? So I think if I'm going to do the research, I haven't done the research, but I have some clues about this. So I haven't delved into it enough to even make this statement, but I'm going to plant the seed. So if you're interested, you do your own research about Goodwill. So it kind of got me thinking. We were in Florida once, and I did like a river cruise. I think it was in Tampa or something. And the owner of Goodwill had this huge mansion, which is fine. I mean, if that's how he wants to spend his money. But it did get me thinking. And I thought, wow, this guy has a huge mansion. And I do believe that Goodwill is it's for profit. It's for profit, I believe. So so we have other thrift shops, which I prefer to donate to because of that, but I haven't done enough research. So if you guys know anything about Goodwill, let me know. But I will also, because I may not shop at Goodwill anymore or donate there if that's the case, if they are for profit. Because you know why? Because I think everybody thinks they're for nonprofit. I think everybody thinks they're nonprofit, and maybe they are. Maybe I'm totally wrong. If they're nonprofit, then that's okay. But if they're nonprofit, would the owner have a huge mansion like that? Maybe they would. Maybe the CEO of a nonprofit. It still seems scummy, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm trying not to be judgmental. Everybody's got their own path. But I can be discerning. So I'm just being discerning. I'm not being judgmental about his mansion. But it made me wonder, like, how much money does this guy making? I don't know if it's a guy, but I think it is. And then when you check out, they ask for money to support they ask you to round up to support the mission, I think is what they say. But if you're going to do that, look into what the mission is. And is it actually, how much of the money that you're rounding up is actually going to the mission? So just something to think about. Okay, so No by 2025. Let's do it. Let me know what you're planning if you are. If it doesn't resonate with you this year, then it's No by 2026. But I just like the idea of like the one little thing. Like what's one little thing you could do that might be helpful for you? It might be helpful for those around you, or it might be helpful for the earth, whatever, might be helpful for your health. So it's just kind of interesting. All right. Have an amazing day. If you're celebrating Christmas, if you're traveling, be safe out there. Drive safe. Big hugs. Tonight, I'm still posting. I did a couple videos. Tonight, we're doing the second round. I'm posting the second round of Christmas questions that you guys had. And tomorrow night, I got a little treat, a little surprise for you. So that's Christmas night. So hopefully you'll pop on and check it out. All right. Click. Have a good day. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.